Hi guys, I'm Hamish Gorman and welcome back to Staying Healthy at Home. In today's video, I want to talk to you about progressing and regressing this squat-based movement because it's a really important lower limb strength exercise that's super functional for your everyday life, but also super important for increasing the strength in your quadricep muscles. Now these muscles are the ones that help us get in and out of chairs, up and down stairs, to play sport, to do lots of different things. And if we can work on strengthening those, they're going to make a big difference to how you feel and what you can do in your everyday life. Now the squat movement looks like this. Feet shoulder width apart, hands kind of across the chest, coming down and slowly back up. Coming down and slowly back up. Now that movement from the side looks like this. Down, back up. Down, back up. It's a fantastic movement and it's, like I said before, really good for strengthening the legs. Some people do find it a little bit difficult, and so they need to work on how do I make that exercise for me a little bit easier. I'm going to work on a couple of common ways that we can do this. The first of which is just to put the hands out in front of the body. This helps with our balance and makes us able to control the movement, especially if we feel like we're falling back a little bit. Hands out in front and coming down. Hands out in front, coming down. If you feel like you're falling backwards when you do the squat, the hands out in front can make a really big difference. The second regression that we're going to work on, or the second kind of adjustment that we can make if you're finding that movement a little bit more difficult, is using a chair behind us. This works to help us feel nice and stable and nice and secure, and gives us a nice movement to work towards and a position to work towards as we're coming down and back up and through. So just touch your bum and then come back up. Touch your bum and come back up. And so just by having the chair or a box or a bench behind you, it can really help to guide your movement and make you feel safe and secure. If you're still finding that a little bit difficult and you're getting a little bit lost with that movement, I would suggest coming down to a position where you can sit nice and stable. You can find your feet position about shoulder width apart. Hands can go across the chest. You can lean in, stand up, and then come back down. And by sitting down in between each repetition, you'll allow your body to reset, re-gear, and go again. Now the easiest way to manipulate that is just by chair height. The lower the chair, the harder the exercise is going to be. The higher the chair, the easier that one's going to be. So, if we make the box all the way to the height, that movement would look much easier because it's going through a smaller range of motion. So there's some easy ways to make a squat movement a little bit easier, but still target the same muscles and still get through the same movement. If you're finding that normal squat is actually a little bit easy, then there's some easy changes that we can make to make it harder. Easy changes to make it harder. Funny statement, but it makes sense. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to grab a little bit of weight. Now you don't need to start too heavy, and you don't need a fancy weight like this. You can use a water bottle or a little backpack, anything that's going to add a little bit of external resistance. Just hold it in front of your chest, in front of your body as you come down. Going through that movement with a little bit of external resistance is going to place an increased load on the legs and make those muscles stronger. If you want to push the range of motion a little bit, you can actually turn this into a squat lift, where you put the weight in front of you, you come down and you pick it up off the floor. Picking it up off the floor can help to push your range of motion a little bit and make that squat movement a little bit harder again. Remember, just like our chairs, the lower we go, the harder that movement will become. It's a nice way to make it harder without having to add much more resistance. So, just to summarize our ways to make the squat harder at the moment, we've got a little bit of increased resistance in front of the body, and we've got dropping our squat down a little bit lower. I'm just going to give you a third way to do that as well, and to do so we're going to come back into our chair. Now this one's a bit of an advanced one, and only do this if you're comfortable squatting through and you feel like you've got good balance and stability, and it's a single leg box squat. So you can sit on the box, put one leg out in front, hands across the chest, stand up, and then sit back down. Stand up, and sit back down. Now the single leg box squat is going to obviously add a lot more resistance to that leg and is a much more challenging movement, but a great way to increase leg strength if you don't have any external resistance at home. Now remember, the same rules apply for the single leg squat. We can make the chair higher or lower to make it easier or harder. So, I'm hoping that at the end of this video, you've got some ideas on how to change your squat movement and make it either easier or harder depending on where you're at in your exercise. If you have any questions about that movement or what you can do to make it right for you, please don't hesitate to reach out and I'll help you out as best as I can. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.